Okay, so hello and welcome to this week content. So as I have mentioned to you earlier, every week we will make few videos which is a supplemental to the regular classroom teaching. So it is not that we will not have class, we will have our regular class. This is in supplemental to the regular classroom teaching, and I want you to go over these videos before the class so that it becomes better in terms of discussion and all that. And so what the purpose of these videos is to kind of give you an overview of the topic, and then we go into more detail, because the class is for 2 hours and the video is hardly, we make for topic is around an hour each. So this week we will talk about human population and urbanization. Part of it was already discussed in earlier weeks, but now we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. Like we'll go in depth regarding the issues associated with like increase in population and how it affects the issues as per urbanization. So if you look at the topics that will be covered this week, we will have talk about the increase in population, like population expansion, explosion, issues with urbanization and how it affects the overall concept of sustainability. As we all know, this is Sustainable Development Goals 2013, that UN Sustainable Development Goal. That's what we all are working for right now in the environmental field to achieve those goals. So how urbanization and increase in population is related to SDGs, what are the challenges they bring to the Sustainable Development Goals, so that we'll be discussing that. And mega cities, cities are getting bigger. As an engineer, as a professional, you will be working on jobs and different projects related to some mega city or the other. That's where a lot of activities are going to happen in next few decades, which will be kind of main like after you graduate for next 2-3 decades, we will have lots of mega cities coming up, and then we'll talk about those. What are the future projection in terms of mega cities, and in fact we'll define mega cities as well. And urban sprawl, how the urban area is kind of encroaching upon the rural areas, and how the two urban areas are getting merged together. Like if you look at NCR today, National Capital Region of Delhi, where Delhi ends, where Gurgaon starts, or where Delhi ends, where Faridabad starts, or Delhi, Ghaziabad, Delhi, Noida, all those things have actually merged together. 20 years ago, it was not like that. Late 90s, when I was working in a company in Delhi, and I left, I was leaving in Delhi for almost out of 4 years of my job, 2.5 years I was in Delhi and around Delhi, in Gurgaon and Delhi. So, and then rest I was in Mumbai and some other places as well. So you see that even Mumbai, you look at today, the new Mumbai area, it is totally new. Many of those areas like Ghansoli and Gujarat and all those were hardly anything was there. In New Mumbai was Wasi, Belapur, CB, and Nerul and all that. If you talk about mid 90s, and if you look at today, and it's a very totally changed. So a lot of so though we'll talk about what are the environmental issues and sustainability issues comes with that kind of development, and how to have better development concepts in terms of environmental aspect. Smart growth, when we talk about the smart cities, so smart growth, what is that? And eco cities and sustainable mobility, which is again talks about all those transportation sector and all those. So we'll talk about all those. This is what we are going to talk about in this particular week's concept. Again, these videos are supplemental to the regular classroom teaching. They are not going to replace the regular classroom teaching. Okay, so you have to attend the classes. You cannot say that, oh, I watched the video, I don't need to attend. This is videos is to especially for those students who are having poor network connectivity, and they will benefit from it, and all of you will benefit from that, because you can review the material, and you can go over this material upfront, so that you can ask intelligent and good question, and we can have some lively discussion in the class. Otherwise, online teaching in the class becomes like one-way traffic, which I don't like that much. We have to have interaction. That's what we enjoy. That's why I'm there in the teaching profession, because I want to talk to the young population, my younger friends, and learn from each other. So population explosion, the question, of course, many times like, are we too many? You may be when you look at the social media or you look at the newspaper articles and you look at the comment section there, people talk about that most of the problems, people will say, oh, we have too much population in India. So that is becoming a lot of problem. Is it a problem? To some extent, yes, it is a problem. More people, more demand for resources, more demand for water, energy and everything, more people on the road, more traffic, all those things are there. But then there is something called population dividend as well. So if you have more people, especially working age people, so that can help your country's economy to go up. So that's also helps. And we have working age even like as of now, India is in a we have more working age population than we have the older people. But that scenario will change as our generation will get older. Like my generation will get older. That scenario will change at some point of time in couple of decades from now. We will have more older people and less people, and that's where the Europe is today, or Japan is today. So we will reach that stage at some point. So, and that has I think we talked about that has a very different demographics where now the young population actually supports the old population, because the young people, the working age population brings the revenue, does the economic activity and the pension that is paid to the older generation, and that money has to come from somewhere. So if you have more people in the older generation, less in the working age, that becomes a problem. That's why the Europe and some of these like Japan, they are struggling right now. So we will get to that situation as well. So when we'll get to that situation where those like how to handle those situations, so we'll look at some of those aspects. So we recently crossed a population milestone of 7 billion. We're talking about global right now on Earth's surface, and within a span of 12 years, we grew from 6 to 7 billion people. So 6 to 7 billion, just 1 billion addition was just in 12 years, slightly over a decade. Now, based on historical projection, as you can see over here, we are right now at we are in 2020, and we will be in 2021 very soon. So if I can just take this, say we are right here. So if I draw a line, something over there. So after this, these are the projections. On the right hand side, what you see is the projections over here. So these projections, the upper range is the higher projection. You have the higher projection there, and then we have the lower projection, and this is kind of the middle path what you see there. So we will be kind of let's say plus minus always based on our projection always has the number. So by 2100, if you go by the middle projection, we are looking at around between 10 to 11 billion people. Now 10 to 11 billion people, 2100. So that would be by the time you retire, but your children and grandchildren will be actively working at that particular time. So even if you look at, say, you guys are mostly 20 years of age, if I say that, and then you have around 40 years, so we are looking at 2060. So if I go by 2060, that range, so still we are close to approaching almost 10 billion, 9 to 10 billion people. So now we have to feed 9 to 10 billion people. We have to bring all those resources for 9 to 10 billion people. So that's that demand is there. So that requires a lot of innovation too in terms of bringing these services to these many people out there. Let's see. Okay. Now we will cross 8 billion by 2025. Let me erase this part. I think which one was that? I think this. Yeah. So it's estimated that we'll 8 billion by 2025, and so there are certain questions that we need to look at. How will this population be distributed? Like what will be the distribution of population? Are they evenly distributed across the world? We know that answer is no. They are not evenly distributed. Because of different reason, the cultures and society developed along the river and now also along the seashore. So it is not evenly distributed around the world. Where is the highest population? Of course, India and China. That's where you see most highest population. If you look at the population density, of course, Korea. Whenever I say Korea, I mean South Korea. So Korea and whenever I will say, I have to say North Korea, I will say that is specifically North Korea, otherwise Korea means South Korea. Okay, so you have South Korea, you have Japan, which has high population density as well. Where is it slowing down? Western European countries, Japan, it's going down. Where the future population will live? Where will the people live? So these are the questions we have to answer. And these questions, the subject which answer these questions are called demography. So demography is the study of population factors affecting the population size. And when you look at demography is actually the study of the population. If you look at the factors which affects the population size, that's the fertility, mortality, and migration. So those are the three major parameters which affects. The picture, as you can see, it's from one of the Indian mega cities. You see a lot of people. They are like shopping around in a shopping area. So that site is not that uncommon. You can see in many places. Now, if you look at the fertility rate, it's the number of live births per 1,000 people per year. And as you see that higher birth per, it is basically birth per 1,000 population. So in this one, and these are the higher numbers. So as we go from here to here, the number actually goes up. So at the bottom, the dark blue is 6 to 10 birth per 1,000. When you come to this magenta, dark magenta, the top one, it is 35 to 45 birth per 1,000. You can see many of the African countries is still in magenta. They are in orange. They are in yellow. So those are that's where the population is going to, we will have explosion of population in coming decades. We'll see a lot of people in Africa. And as you go down, like if you go down this chart, as you go into blues, the darker the blue, lowest the rate, Australia. Then China also have reduced their rate. North America most like US and Canada. Mexico is the lighter blue, not the darker blue. Then you have several countries in darker blue, in several like darkest blue is in Western Europe actually. If you look at the darkest, the bottom one, 6 to 10 is in the Western European countries. So India is in the similar category as Mexico and some of these South American countries and some of these Middle East and other countries here as well. So India is 15 to 20 birth per 1,000 population per year. So that's the per year data. Okay, so that's the data you have for incomes of Indian data. So now if you look at the individually in terms of states in India, the red ones are where we see higher population. The other areas we don't have the data. So only the 10 top populated states in India is presented here. Rest we have not looked into. So in terms of the 10 top population in India, 2011 and 2018 data is given here. So Uttar Pradesh is number 1, then Maharashtra, and then we have Bihar and West Bengal, 3rd and 4th. Then Madhya Pradesh is 5th, Rajasthan is 6th, and 7th is your Tamil Nadu, 8th is Karnataka, 9th is Gujarat, and 10th is Andhra Pradesh. And Andhra Pradesh, now Telangana is separate, so it's just the Andhra Pradesh part. So as you can see, we have these 10 states has higher population and they do have higher birth rate as well, the fertility rate as well. So if you look at this data in terms of, let me move it somewhere here, maybe at the bottom here, so that may be better. So if you look at India's population explosion, see this is the Bihar's fertility rate was the highest in India as per 2016 data, 3.3 is the Bihar's fertility rate, and Uttar Pradesh is 3.1, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh was 2.7, Jharkhand 2.6, Chhattisgarh 2.5, and Gujarat 2.2. So we do have quite a increase in population happening in the country. We have 13.7 million increase in population in 1 year from 2018 to 2019. 13.7 million people got added. That's annual change of 1% compared to 1.2% in 2015. So it's a number is going down. It was 2.3%. It used to be 2.3% increase in 1985, which went down to 1.9 in 2000. Went down further to 1.2 in 2015. Now it is in 2018 to 19, it was 1%. So, but since the base is high, now the base, even the actual number is higher, but yes, percentage wise we are going down. So India's population 1.37 billion as of August 27, 2019, which is slightly more than a year ago as per the UN estimates. Which is around 18%, 17.7% of the global population. So if you look at, if you take 100 people in the globe, 18 people are Indian out of 100. So we have 18 Indians in 100. Fertility rate is 2.36, or that's we defined that in the earlier slides, and so that's what we see. Then Indian states and union territories had fertility rates below 2.1 in 2016. So there are certain states which has below, like Punjab, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Maharashtra. They have below the 2.1. There, it took 37 is the number of years India will enjoy a demographic dividend. So from 2018 to 2025. So this is what I was trying to 2055, not 2025, 2055. So 2055 is. You guys are, if you are 20 years of age right now, so you will be 20 plus 35, so another, you will be 55. So that's basically your age group is where you will be mostly working age. So in this 37 next 37 years, since the data was calculated in 2018, so 37 plus 2018 is 2055. So up to 2055, we will have a demographic dividend. Now, what is the demographic dividend means? It's the largest working age population. Working age population is taken from age of 15 to 64. So we will have larger working age population than dependents, and dependents are below 15, above 65. So those are called dependents. So below 15 as well as above 65, they are the dependents. So up to 2055, we have demographic dividend. And after that, we will be kind of going into where the Western Europe is today. So we have to start preparing for it right now. So 19% of the percent of India is expected to be over the age of 60 by 2050. So that's a 19%, up from 8%, and this will rise to 33% by this will rise to 33% by, it should be 2070, not 2011. It says a UN report. Now 56% of likely population growth from 2000 to 2050 will have a 56%, that's the likely population growth, but over 60s will grow by 326%. Over 80s will grow by 700%. So to cope up with that, India has to become a developed economy by 2030. So we have only 10 years actually. In next 10 years, we have to really grow at a much faster rate, and that's as based on a SBI report, a State Bank of India report, that India should be a developed country by 2030 so that we can take care of our aging population from 2055, and even along the way we have to start taking care of the aging population, because when you become a developed countries, you have certain GDP per capita, you have the money to invest in social security. Right now the money goes to just to feed the poor, just to make sure that people don't go hungry. We don't have deaths from hunger, which also we see from time to time happening. So a lot of resources does go there. So India has to grow, and that's by 2030 we have to become a developed economy. These are based on certain estimates, certain reports. Those numbers may change a little bit, ups and downs, but that does not really what we are debating here. What we are trying to say that India needs rapid development, as a country, we do need rapid development. Now, for whenever we go for rapid development, we do make environmental mistakes. So, and later on that environmental mistakes starts haunting us. So, we should not make those environmental mistakes. That's the reason Supreme Court wanted this course, and that's the reason you and I are talking right now. You are in terms of like these aspects. So, we have to be careful. So, we have to be environmentally responsible when we are trying to become a developed economy in next 10 years. So, we are end of 2020, almost end of 2020 now. So, we will have 10 years to become a developed economy. If otherwise, say if we don't become by 2030, we'll have certain other issues to take care of that. Earth is not going to, like, the sky is not going to fall apart, but still we will have, the challenges will become more critical. Okay, so let's stop here on this segment, and then we'll continue this discussion in the next one. Thank you.